What's up, gamers, gamies, and gamettes? My name is John, and welcome back to Winter's Empty Mask. Last time, our main protagonist, Yuki, was bullied by 3 bitches, and they're gonna be murked next as her new victim. You're wondering, why am I push-upping, or why am I yogaing? Spontaneous opening. If you guys haven't followed lately, the randomness. But if you guys don't follow, that's all on you guys. But let's continue the story, shall we? Whatcha? Alright, let's do this. I need a new victim. Winter's Empty Mask. I like that. I like how he always does that. Transition. Dark clouds. At the night, a shadow walks quietly along the street, completely alone and dressed in clothes that nobody else would use in this age. It isn't that the clothes are ugly or uncomfortable, it's actually quite the opposite. But they are very old-fashioned and inappropriate for the place. Those are, in fact, its work uniform, and its job is something very special. Not teaching, building, or cleaning, but killing. Due to the uprising of violence in the city, most people stayed at home at night, making it easy to lurk in the darkness of Mamoji, looking for a new victim. Anyone who was unfortunate to cross its path would be enough. It wasn't looking for someone in particular. To tell the truth, it didn't even want to kill that night, but it was instructed to do so. The killer walks, fully aware of its surroundings carefully. There was nobody there who could see it. Like an animal hunted, it moves through a world of only grays, checking every house within a view without choosing any in particular. Suddenly the shadow stops. It found something that caught its attention. It stares at the house, which had an open window on the 2nd floor, but that meant little for the lurking shadow. It had made up its mind. This is the place. The person who lived there was unfortunate. It wouldn't be able to live enough to see the daylight. Among the many people in the house, City 1 starts to think that chances of being attacked are small. And you may be right, but still, someone has to be the unlucky one, and it could be only anyone. Soon, the killer was already standing inside the house. It walked slowly, observing the room. Nothing worthy of notice here, but it looked like the victim was inside the house. You could feel his presence, his smell, his sounds. The victim was on the 1st floor, possibly working, writing, or signing something. Teacher, it was bound to happen. I hate qualifying exam, damn what? I should just fail everyone. The man speaks to himself, only expressing frustration. It was a terribly familiar voice. He was absorbed by his work, reading and checking pages after page of exams. In some ways, those tests were of life or death importance. How ironic. Or maybe it would be better to say how fitting. The assassin moved stealthily and undetected. When it was just 6 steps away from its victim, it intentionally stomped loudly. Surprised and scared, the man instantly turned his head, discovering his unwanted guest. Oh my god, that doesn't look good. Small statured, a creepy gas mask with red eyes and covered by an old camouflage cape. Look at this! Alright, Yuki, holy crap, you on some other level, girl. I mean, we get you were messed up in childhood, but still, like, holy crap, you're still messed up now a little bit. Imagine the surprise of the poor teacher to see the person inside his house late at night. He was more than terrified. He felt life threatened. Who the hell are you? He asked the unknown burglar. At the same time, he took from his pockets a self-defense weapon, a stun gun. It is easy to see the fear shining in his eyes. His hands are shaking. It was clear that he was an inexperienced fighter, much unlike the assassin. The assassin does nothing, just stare at him while heavy breathing. making him more nervous by not even moving a muscle. Soon enough, the teacher can't stand his presence anymore and attacks. It's pathetic. The assassin skillfully grabs his wrist and twists it in an inhumane force, breaking the bones and forcing him to drop the stun gun. All the while, moving behind him, all done in a blink of an eye. The teacher can't even scream in the pain because of the assassin pressed his neck with his other arm, choking him almost to death, almost breaking his neck too. One can hear his noises, gasping desperately for air, but this is not the way he'll die. Oosh. Suddenly the assassin hits him in the stomach and then kicks him away from the stun gun. The man bends in pain on the ground. He is sobbing, crying. It only took him a moment to defeat him. Coldly the assassin stands right next to him, looking down at him. Once again he can hear the heavy breathing. The teacher stared at the black mask without saying a word. He was crying. What else could he do but that? He was afraid of what the assassin would do to him, afraid of the pain and afraid of dying. For many long seconds, which felt almost endless, they just stared at each other. The black mask told him nothing. He couldn't see what look the assassin had on his face, and scared him. Not knowing was scary. It made him imagine horrible things. Why are you doing this? Take all my money. I swear not to call the police. Please don't kill me. I'll do anything, he said while bowing the assassin. He had lost all of his dignity. Living this meant more for him than that. Pathetic. Whoosh! With a quick move of his hands, the assassin shoots 2 needles, the nails of the teacher's hands on the floor, very painfully. Soon the red warm liquid flows out from his body. Naturally, he screams very loudly, but no one would come to his aid. He was all alone, just like the assassin was. Only the last was the stronger one. Please, why are you doing this? Spare me, please. I beg of you, he said between sobs as if someone was bullying a little kid.
I didn't do anything. You were the one who called this upon yourself.
Finally, the assassin says something to him. Its voice sounded deep and disoriented, nothing like its real voice. He shakes his head in denial. How? How could I have called this upon myself? He looks deep in the assassin's within pleading eyes. Looks like he had given up on saving his life and now only cared for knowing the reason for his death.
Because you left your window open, that's really the only reason.
Was the cruel answer, said so coldly it must have turned his blood onto ice. There is a brief silence. No, this isn't right. That can't be true. He cries at those words, unable to bear the pain. His soul was now hurting more than his wounded body, unable to accept the truth. He is staring at the assassin with a disgusting face covered in tears and snot, crying. No, his face was already disgusting even before crying. That's because the assassin knew him.
Do you really need a reason?
The assassin asked, getting no answer, but his eyes tell it that it yearns for it.
Very well then. How about this one?
You creepy mofo, the assassin said. Oh, Yuki. You smiling? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my god, the assassin said. At the same time, he takes off his mask, revealing his identity. Red glass eyes, black hair, and an expressive face. He recognized her instantly. He's at a loss of words. Transition. Winter's empty mask. Oh, shudder, shudder, shudder. Akatsu! He said with surprise, with terror now reflected in his shaky eyes. Looks like it was a satisfactory answer, knowing he was going to be killed because I hated him. Though, I knew it was a lie, just a whim I did because I had no reason not to. Oh, gosh. Do you see my hair, Sensei? I say with a false grin in my face, yet it looked so natural. It used to be so long, and now it's short. Some girls cut it while I was punished in school, so I could call this a loss. Your fault. After I waited so much for it to grow, after I took such good care of it, now it is gone, and it is your fault. After saying that, I given him a piercing stare filled with playful malice, with the joy of punishing the one who caused me pain. But then again, that was a lie. In reality, this was just an act for him because he needed it to cause for me nothing. He looks back at my face, astonished. Small drops of sweat appeared on his forehead. He is at a loss for words, and he can barely breathe. A few seconds later, he silently lowers his face, looking at the floor, accepting the reality before him. His end. He is still shaken by there is not much else to say. Then I take 4 needles in my right hand, very long, with the point painted in red. You've been so bad to me, Sensei, so it's time to pay. Sayonara, bitch. My teacher, Asiya Shizuka Sensei, closes his eyes for the last time. Eesh, that noise, that blood. Ooh. In the blink of an eye, I shoot the 4 needles and killed him. It was a very fast and precise attack. It was painful, but for just an instant, the jugular vein, his heart, both lungs, those 4 places were pierced by the long needles which buried deep inside his body. Soon I stare at his lifeless body under a puddle of red blood. He is dead. All of me knows that there is no way he could have survived that. It would have been human to do so. But it was useless to do it. But those were my orders. I would have to check he was dead. Just like I did with my other victims. I extended my right hand and pointed at him with my palm. Soon the blood flows back to his body, almost as if it was reversing time, but this was by no means a healing power. His body slightly wiggles from super high blood pressure, and then explodes, ejecting blood from all of his holes, with so much force that it stains my clothes and the walls nearby. He was now completely destroyed inside and crushed and torn. The vital fluid had crushed all bones and organs, leaving only a meat jelly. Mysteriously, the drops of blood fall from my clothes a little later, as if they were made for the impermeable plastic instead of cloth, leaving them completely clean in seconds. Making all that happen was really easy with my powers. I couldn't say I was going to miss my teacher, but there is a part of me that felt relief because now my days in school wouldn't be so uncomfortable. Now I looked at one that stained walls and I think about doing something unnecessary. This colorless world made only grays and perhaps sometimes appear one more color. A color that follows me and knows me very immediately. A color that blooms in the injuries and deaths. Red. The color which means my way of life and my power. I then move my hands as if directing an orchestra of blood, musicians, and artists, obeying the drops of blood move, and some even floating in the air, writing a message. I love this color red. Transition. Capítulo 2. Or chapter 2 in English, whatever. Reunion. So, I think I'm gonna... Oh, I clicked it by accident. Alright, transition, still. And I see a balloon there, I think. In the midst of the complete darkness, a bright object falls from heaven alone and in silence. Alright, so without further ado, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I don't know why I repeated that. I hope you guys have a good night, good evening, and good morning from wherever you're from. So peace out and sayonara. We're gonna find out what's gonna happen next time. Bye bye. I'm mixing my things up. Bye bye.